Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that will pull at your heartstrings. It's a tale about love, loss, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his daughter. This is the story of The Last Letter. Our story begins with Maya, a young woman who grew up with a ghost. Her father, Sergeant Evan Carter, was a soldier who went missing in action when she was just 5 years old. All she had left of him was a single faded photograph and a chest full of his old uniforms and medals, items her mother kept locked away in the attic, along with the painful memories they held. For years, Maya lived with a void, a question mark where a father should have been. She knew he was a hero, a man who served his country, but the man himself was a mystery. Her mother rarely spoke of him, the pain still too raw, even after all this time. Maya's childhood was filled with the silent ache of his absence. One rainy afternoon, shortly after her 21st birthday, Maya found herself drawn to the attic. Her mother was out, and the house was quiet. Pushing aside dusty boxes, she found the old wooden chest. The lock was rusty, but with a bit of effort, it clicked open. Inside, nestled among the crisp uniforms, she found a small, leather-bound journal. It was her father's. Tucked within its pages was an envelope, yellowed with age. On the front, in her father's elegant handwriting, it read, "For my little star, Maya. Letter number 1. With trembling hands, she opened it. The letter wasn't about war or fighting. It was about her. He wrote about the day she was born, how her tiny fingers wrapped around his, and how he knew in that moment he would do anything to protect her. He described her first laugh, calling it the sweetest music he'd ever heard. The letter was a time capsule of love, a father's adoration for his daughter. But at the end, a cryptic line caught her eye. Find the North Star in the old oak. It will guide you to the next. Confused but intrigued, Maya remembered the giant oak tree in their backyard, the one with the tire swing he had supposedly built. She ran outside, the rain soaking her hair. There, carved into the trunk, almost hidden by overgrown bark, was a small, 5-pointed star. She pressed on it, and a tiny, hollowed-out compartment was revealed. Inside was another letter, marked Matutu. This letter spoke of dreams. Her father wrote about his hope for her future. He wanted her to travel, to see the world he was fighting to protect. He told her to be brave, to be kind, and to never let anyone dim her light. He mentioned a treasure map he'd drawn for her, hidden where stories sleep. Maya instantly knew where to look. The bookshelf in her childhood bedroom, behind her favorite collection of fairy tales. And just as he'd said, tucked behind the book was a hand-drawn map of their small town, leading her to the next letter. The treasure hunt continued for weeks. Each letter led her to a new location, a place that held a special memory for her father. One was hidden in the bell tower of the old town church, where he described listening to the chimes and praying for her safety. Another was buried near the lake, where he and her mother had their first date. With each letter, a clearer picture of her father emerged. He wasn't just a soldier in a photograph. He was a man who loved poetry, who had a goofy sense of humor, who dreamed of teaching her how to fish and fly a kite. As Maya pieced together the puzzle of her father's life, she also began to piece together the truth of his final days. The letters, once filled with light and hope, started to carry a heavier tone. He wrote about the harsh realities of war, not in graphic detail, but in the weariness of his words. He spoke of his friends, his brothers in arms, and the sacrifices they made every day. He wanted her to understand that his service wasn't about glory, but about protecting the world she would grow up in. The final clue led her to the local library, to a specific book on military history. Inside, she found the last letter. This one was different. The handwriting was rushed, the paper slightly smudged. He wrote that his unit was about to embark on a dangerous mission. He knew the risks. He told her that if she was reading this, it meant he didn't make it back. He wrote, "My dearest Maya, do not be sad. I lived a full life because I had you and your mother. My only regret is not being able to watch you grow. But know this, every choice I made for you. I was on a mission to protect a small village, to give other children the chance to grow up safe, just like I wanted for you. That was my final purpose. Live a beautiful life, my little star. Live it for both of us. I will always be with you, watching over you." Tucked behind the letter was a newspaper clipping. It detailed the heroic actions of Sergeant Carter's unit. They had successfully defended a civilian village from an overwhelming attack, but at a great cost. The article described how Sergeant Carter had sacrificed himself to ensure his comrades and the villagers could get to safety. He hadn't just gone missing. He had made a choice. He had given his life to save others. Tears streamed down Maya's face, but they weren't just tears of sadness. They were tears of understanding, of pride, of overwhelming love. Her father wasn't a ghost anymore. He was a hero, not just to his country, but to her. Through his letters, he had given her the greatest gift of all, the truth. He had shown her who he was, and in doing so, helped her find a part of herself. The void in her heart was finally filled, not with sorrow, but with the enduring power of her father's love. She had found her father, not in the attic, but in his own words, and his legacy would live on through her. What a powerful story of love and sacrifice. It reminds us that our loved ones are never truly gone as long as we keep their memory alive. Thank you so much for joining me on this emotional journey today. If you were touched by this story, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, take care.